We're coming up on Proverbs 9. First, let's give a brief intro to this chapter. We're going to be seeing throughout the commendation of wisdom is continued under the figure of a liberal host and its provisions under that of a feast, which one can also look at that of Christ's parable and really see great similarities right here. The character of those who are invited is followed by a contrasted description of the rejectors of good counsel, and with the invitations of wisdom are contrasted the allurement of the wicked woman. Verse 1, Wisdom hath builded her house, she hath hewn out her 7 pillars, she hath killed her beast, she hath mingled her wine, she hath also furnished her table. A little bit of speculation on what these 7 pillars are. Now, whenever you run into these mysteries, especially with numbers, you have to use the Bible to define the Bible. So, Pulpit noted, in the book of Revelation, the whole church, the 7 churches, is represented by the number of 7. Wisdom's house here is said to be thus founded because of its perfection and adaptability to all states of men. But doubtless there is a reference to the 7-fold gifts of the Holy Spirit, which rested upon Christ. We've went over these, and you can read about those in Isaiah 11 too, and which are the support and strength of the church, being symbolized by the 7-branched candlestick in the temple. Now, as far as the 7 spirits of the Lord mentioned in Isaiah 11, wisdom being one attribute of those 7, it is possible that wisdom is portrayed in the figure of a woman here instead of that of a man, which would better typify Christ. But for the sake of singling out that of wisdom itself, for the sake of singling out wisdom, this attribute of the Almighty, a woman is used, just to single out this single attribute. The fuller revelation, though, of the Trinity had yet to be revealed through the Son, who is called specifically the wisdom of God in 1 Corinthians 1:24. So wisdom has prepared a house for all those in whom seek her out, and she is bidding all to come to this. She hath sent forth her maidens. She crieth upon the highest places of the city. Whoso is simple, let him turn in here. As for him that wanteth understanding, she saith to him, Come, eat of my bread, and drink of the wine which I have mingled. Forsake the foolish, and live, and go in the way of understanding. Couple of different topics to cover before we go any further right here. If you'll recall how the king in Matthew 22 dispatches his servants for the same work. In essence, his prophets and wise men and scribes, whom from age to age he sends forth as his messengers. But also notice, and I know that most of you probably caught this, Come, eat of my bread and drink of the wine which I have mingled. Pulpit commented on this, the early church fathers see here a prophecy of the gospel feast, the Last Supper, wherein Christ gave and gives bread and wine as symbols of his presence. He that reproveth a scorner getteth to himself shame, and he that rebuketh a wicked man getteth himself a blot. Reprove not a scorner, lest he hate thee. Rebuke a wise man, and he will love thee. John Gill noted, to rebuke such a one, a wicked man, is not only labor lost and in vain, but the rebuker getteth himself an ill name, and is sure to have the dirt of reproach, meaning that a wicked man is going to go, and he's even going to try to ruin your reputation and all of this, a blot upon your name. But Gill does continue, though this a man might patiently bear, you might bear that if there was any hope of doing good to the evil person. And I do agree with Pulpit on this. It is needful that we sometimes endure keeping to ourselves what they are. We know they're stupid and foolish and in darkness. We know all that. But they don't. It is needful that we sometimes endure keeping to ourselves what they are in order that they may learn in us by our good living what they are not. Jesus told us about these types and what to do with them. Give not that which is holy unto the dogs, neither cast ye your pearls before swine, lest they trample them under their feet and turn again and rend you. But the narrative goes on, give instruction to a wise man, and he will be yet wiser. Teach a just man, and he will increase in learning. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, and the knowledge of the holy is understanding. For by me, wisdom itself, thy days shall be multiplied, and the years of thy life shall be increased. If thou be wise, thou shalt be wise for thyself. But if thou scornest, thou alone shalt bear it. A foolish woman is clamorous. She is simple and knoweth nothing. For she sitteth at the door of her house, on a seat in the high places of the city. Now, of course, clamorous means noisy. These loud types, they all want all the attention. They're very ego-driven. To call passengers who go right on their ways. They cry out to such simple people, whoso is simple, let him turn in here. And as for him that wanteth understanding, she saith to him, stolen waters are sweet, she says, and bread eaten in secret is pleasant. You see how much that they love evil. They love any type of forbidden fruit. But he, the man in whom went with her, he knoweth not that the dead are there, and that her guests are in the depths of hell. Now, this is a relatively short chapter, so let's just give one final comment by Barnes on this. Stolen waters are sweet, she says, and bread eaten in secret is pleasant. According to Albert Barnes, the one great proof of the inherent corruption of man's nature. Pleasures are attractive because they are forbidden. And I did mention such in our previous study about that is the greatest proof of our fallen nature to me is how, just like Romans 7, Paul says, the things that I want to do, I don't do, and the things that I don't want to do, I do. Oh, wretched man am I. Who can deliver me from the body of this death? You know, it's the body is so set on doing evil. Every single thing that is evil, the body wants to do. If you know that it's illegal, then you'll want to do it. If you know that it's kind of taboo or whatever, that's almost an alluring thing. The flesh wants to do that. It's just one of the great proofs that we're in a fallen world, a fallen nature that is against God. That's why Paul the Apostle says, walk ye in the Spirit, that you may not fulfill the lust of the flesh.